The music was soft and joyful, but something dark was already growing beneath the surface. Snow drifted gently outside the Victorian-era home, while candlelight flickered inside the crowded ballroom. It was supposed to be a night of celebration, laughter, and holiday cheer. Instead, it would become the night a woman's jealousy turned into brutal murder. No one at that Christmas party in Pickens County, Georgia, could have imagined what was about to happen. They had come to sing carols, enjoy warm food, and dance beneath garlands and ribbons. But behind the polite smiles and glittering decorations, 3 hearts were colliding in a dangerous way. At the center of it all was a man named Bob Southern. In the 1870s, Bob Southern was known as one of the most charming men in the county. He came from a respectable family, dressed well, and spoke with confidence. Women found him handsome. Men found him impressive. But those who knew him well also knew something else. Bob Southern did whatever he wanted, no matter who it hurt. He liked attention, he liked control, and most of all, he liked women. For years, Bob had been seeing 2 very different women at the same time. One was Narcissa Cowart. She was older, divorced, and known for being bold and outspoken. People whispered about her reputation, but she never seemed to care. She was confident, experienced, and not afraid to go after what she wanted. The other was Kate Hambrick. Kate was young, beautiful, just 18 years old. Her family was respected, and her future looked bright. Where Narcissa was daring and controversial, Kate was seen as sweet and proper. Both women loved Bob Southern, and Bob loved the attention. In 1876, he finally made his choice. He married Kate Hambrick, the younger woman with the innocent smile. To the outside world, it looked like the perfect match. But the marriage was doomed from the very beginning. Almost immediately, Bob began staying out late. Some nights, he didn't come home at all. Rumors spread quickly through the town. People whispered that Bob was still seeing Narcissa Cowart. Kate heard those whispers, and every one of them cut deeper than the last. She tried to ignore it. She tried to be patient. But every night, Bob came home late. The jealousy grew stronger. Every rumor made her feel smaller, and every thought of Narcissa made her heart burn. By the time Christmas arrived, Kate was already on edge. That year, Kate's family decided to throw a large Christmas party for the entire community. It was meant to be a joyful gathering where everyone could come together. Music, dancing, laughter, and warmth filled the Hambrick home. Everyone was invited, including Narcissa Cowart. When Kate learned Narcissa would be there, fear and anger flooded her chest. She confronted Bob before the party even began. She told him she would not tolerate him speaking to Narcissa. She warned him not to dance with her, not to look at her, not to give her any attention at all. Bob did not promise anything, because Bob never did. The party began like any other. People laughed. They danced. They enjoyed themselves beneath the Christmas decorations. Kate tried to relax. She tried to trust her husband. Then she saw them, Bob Southern and Narcissa Cowart, standing close together on the dance floor. Too close. Moments later, Bob took Narcissa's hand, and in front of everyone, he led her into the center of the room. The music started, and they began to dance. Kate felt her stomach drop. Her heart pounded so hard she could hear it in her ears. People in the room stared in shock. Everyone knew what this meant. Everyone knew the history. Kate walked toward the couple, her face tight with anger. She politely tried to cut in, as social rules allowed. She expected Bob to step away. Instead, Narcissa refused. Bob looked at his wife and calmly said he wanted to keep dancing. The two of them continued moving together, laughing, smiling, as if Kate did not exist. Kate stood there, humiliated and burning with rage, while the entire room watched. Something inside her snapped. She turned and walked away from the dance floor. Her hands were shaking. Her vision was blurred with anger. She found her father and asked him for his pocket knife. She told him she needed it to cut a toothbrush. He handed it to her without suspicion. The cold metal rested against her skin as she walked back into the ballroom. The music was still playing. The dancing was still going on. But Kate was no longer the same woman who had walked away moments earlier. She waited. She watched. And when the dance finally ended, she made her move. As the music slowed and people began drifting away from the dance floor, Kate stepped forward. Her face was calm to calm. Narcissa Coward was still smiling, still flushed from dancing with Bob. She did not see what was coming. Kate grabbed her by the arm. Her voice was low and sharp as she hissed, "You have danced enough." Then she struck. The knife went straight into Narcissa's neck. Blood poured out instantly, soaking her dress. She gasped, stumbling backward, trying to breathe. But Kate was not finished. She grabbed Narcissa by the hair and pulled her closer. With horrifying force, she dragged the blade across her throat, from ear to ear. The room exploded into screams. Narcissa collapsed to the floor, dead. People ran in every direction. Some cried. Some froze in shock. One man shouted, "What man did that?" Kate stood there, covered in blood. And she calmly replied, "I am the man who did it, and I don't regret it." Bob Southern rushed forward. Instead of being horrified, he pulled out a pistol. He pointed it at the crowd and told everyone to step back. He took Kate by the arm, and together they walked out of the house. No one tried to stop them. The couple disappeared into the night. For more than a year, Bob and Kate lived as fugitives. They hid, they moved. They stayed one step ahead of the law. During that time, Kate even gave birth to a child. When they were finally caught in North Carolina in 1878, she was holding a baby in her arms. They were brought back to Georgia together. Even in jail, Bob, Kate, and their child were allowed to stay in the same cell. The trial shocked the state. Some people called Kate a cold-blooded killer. Others said she had been pushed too far. When the jury found her guilty and sentenced her to hang, outrage followed. Many people could not accept that a woman would be executed. The governor eventually reduced her sentence to 10 years in prison. Then, after even more public sympathy, she was released early. Kate returned to Bob. They had more children. They lived out their lives together. The woman who murdered another woman in a jealous rage died peacefully in her bed. Some crimes are not driven by hate. They are driven by love, jealousy, and humiliation. And sometimes those emotions can be more deadly than any weapon. If this story shocked you, you're not alone, okay? There are many forgotten crimes just as disturbing as this one. Kate hid the knife inside the folds of her dress. Subscribe now for more true crime stories that history tried to bury. And click the next video to uncover another dark secret waiting in the shadows.